All right, welcome back. So wholesale real estate in the UK, again, secrets they won't tell you. The terminology is probably not wholesale in the UK. All right, I don't know this disclaimer, but I have something I want to share with you. Disclaimer, okay? They don't have the terminology. They don't maybe now they do, but last time I checked, they don't have the terminology wholesale real estate in the UK. Okay, but last time I checked, there are quite a few people that make money with real estate in the United States from outside of United States. Okay, and that's what I wanted to share with you on this segment, real quick. Okay, now again, I know last week I talked about being able to partner with us. The link is always scrolling to the screen if you're interested in that. But for the rest of this series, I just want to share my stories, share some of the tons of real estate stories, the knowledge that I have. I want to continue to share with you because inside of those stories are some of the nuances that if people just knew, they would probably avoid getting into problem with real estate. Okay. Now, most people, when they lose money in real estate, they won't tell you. I just want you to know that they won't tell you that they lost money in real estate. They might tell you the day that they made a lot of money, but they won't necessarily tell you about the money that they lost. Okay, so let's just be aware of that. Okay, so now back to UK wholesaling real estate. I want to talk to you about potentially wholesaling United States real estate from the UK. If you want to do that smoothly, it's better you partner with somebody who is on ground. But you don't have to partner off the bat. You can actually start marketing first. And then once you find good leads, then you can partner with people for disposition. So if everything I just said to you sounds strange, it's okay. I got you. I got you. Okay. So with wholesale real estate, there's 5 stages. Okay. There's 5 stages, but there's three operations that actually moves a deal through those 5 phases, and I want to share that with you real quick. All right, so we call it wholesale because you get to pick up properties very cheaply using real estate contracts, right? You pick them up at 50 cents to 70 cents on the dollar. That means 50% to 70% of what the property is worth after repair. Because if the house needs work, you need to actually adjust for that. Okay. So what does that mean? Let's say a property is worth $100,000 on the market today. If it's perfect, sparkling clean, right? If it's worth $100,000, when you are working with me here and you understand this game as an investor, when somebody reaches out and they want to sell, I prefer inbound. Okay, there's outbound where you reach out to them and you cold call them, or cold call, or you knock on doors. Those are all outbound prospecting or marketing, right? I prefer inbound. Why? Because it put me in a position of authority and they called me. So now the conversation is just a lot more easier and I put all my energy in prospecting inbound leads. Okay. You don't have to. It's probably cheaper to market outbound by simply knocking on doors, but that consumes time. Now you have to go on neighborhoods and be knocking on doors. And God helps you if a dog doesn't chase you down the streets. Okay. I've tried them in the past. It's not my thing. So I prefer inbound where you spend money and skills on marketing skills, right? And then people reach out if they want to sell. So we have phase one, we call it the marketing. Inside of that marketing phase, right, you pass from one stage to another. Stage one is data to contact. Data is everything you have access to with PropStream that I've been showing you all along. Again, you can try PropStream for free at myempirepro.com/PropStream over there. Okay. Now, data is basically like the pre-foreclosure data, vacant property data. Let me show you. I'll show you. It's better I show you, right? So today we're basically going inside of right. We see these are all it says MLS, that means multiple listing systems. Is basically where licensed real estate agents, this is where they list properties for sale. Okay. When you click on here, you can see all the properties on sale, actively for sale on the market right now, right? On the MLS. Well, if you want to, it might not be active, okay? But you can see here it says active status, active status, active. Some of them are expired listings. Then you also have pre-foreclosures 399. This is what we call data, right? You can see the data of what's going on. I have what I call the 11 points diversion 3 here. I will take time to explain that in the nearest future. These are properties that fit a certain criteria that I've already set as filters. It's a saved filter basically. And these are properties that if I was setting up a direct mail as a form of marketing, meaning I want to send letters to them. This was something I did for 6 months. I did it for 6 months back in as soon as I graduated with a master's degree in 2005. I started this activity for 6 months and I closed my first deal 6 months later in December 2005. That deal paid me $10,000. It was supposed to be $20,000, but the seller got greedy at the closing. He saw that I was about to make $20,000. I know you're about to call me greedy, but whatever. Just watch this, right? So the seller got greedy and we step outside. I say, let's step outside, bro. What's going on? Like, listen, you're about to make $20,000 off of my house. Yeah, yeah, bro. Nah, bro. I can't. You know what? What if I give you $10,000? Would you close it? He said, let's do it. Don't deal. Extra $10,000. How many people you know wake up to extra $10,000 in a given day? It was sweet, right? That's one story I can share with you. I have tons of stories. I'll continue to share them with you. But anyway, we closed the deal, and that was my first deal. What was I doing? I would send letters to like these 40 pieces of property, but it wasn't this. I didn't have this type of knowledge that I have today at the time. I just sent letters to all the pre-foreclosures, and I spent $100 every week. I was making $300 per week driving FedEx, delivering in New Brunswick, and I would take $100 and I would spend it for 6 months, and we closed that deal back then. And after that, the journey has changed. Of course, lots of ups and downs. I'll tell you more of my story later on. Anyway, these are data. The point I was making here is that this is data right here. Okay. So you take data and then you turn data into contacts. You can contact them or they contact you, right? That contact is the main piece that we call the marketing there, right? And from contacts, you turn them to leads. As soon as they express that they are open to selling, that's leads. Okay. The moment they said, yes, I want to sell, that becomes a lead. The interest is what makes it a lead. And then we move on to phase 2, which is acquisition, right? Acquisition is basically when you turn that lead into a contract, a piece of paper that says, I'm selling you this at this price point. That's when you turn it into contract, okay? And then we go into phase 3, we call it the disposition. This is when you turn that contract into a piece of asset or cash. Cash is always better. Well, asset is always good too, right? So asset is when you say, I want to keep this as a renter, as a part of my renter portfolio, right? When you buy this property. So when we say we lock in the deal, we turn it to contract, we're locking the contract at 50 to 70% of what the property is worth, minus the repair cost. Okay. So there's a repair estimate. You look at the property, does it need cosmetics or does it need a full gut out renovation, right? Or rehab. And then you minus that from the 70%, between 50 to 7%. It could be less, depends on the deal, right? But bottom line is it has to be below 70%. That's what sets you apart as a winner from everybody else. All right, so we turn that contract into closing deals, assets, or anything. That's basically everything that goes into that. So, but what were we talking about? That's wholesale real estate here in the United States. But what makes this really key here? Hold on 1 second. Uh-oh. Let me look at something here. Hold on 1 second. What time is it? Give me 1 second, guys. I love that all of this is happening in real time. Just give me 1 second. Thank God that I have a monitoring screen here. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right. What was that? So wholesale real estate, the idea of buying discounted properties exists everywhere in the world. Anything. So wholesale, the idea of wholesale means you buy something less than the retail price so you can save money or resell them, particularly to resell them to retail, right? That's what makes you an investor, right? So it's not about the terminology. So in the UK, in Nigeria, in Africa, in the Europe, in the Asia, someone is out there smarter than you finding ways that they do a little bit of research, they find ways to reach out for opportunities to buy properties at a wholesale price. Okay. But again, for you to do it consistently, if you go to a neighborhood around you and you start knock on doors, and it's not like a operation, a business operation, you're probably going to get tired. Okay, you're probably going to get tired of that, and eventually you're going to just waste resources for 2 weeks, and they say it doesn't work, you leave. So how do you make sure you don't do that, right? You understand that this is a marketing operation. It's something you have to do consistently over a period of time. So, but what do you want to do with all these properties? You flip them to other investors for you flip them, okay? You flip them for profit. Here we call them wholesale assignment fees, okay? You might call it, you might coin a different name that aligns with the culture of that area, but as long as people are buying retail price, somebody is smart enough to know that they can buy at the wholesale price to keep for their own portfolio for rental properties or to resell to retail buyers, and then they make profit. And that what do you call it, the markup is basically your profit. You do that consistently, and you just make sure that the money aligns, the investment into the resources, the time, the resources, whatever marketing resources you need today in this digital marketing world. It is no wonder I wrote a third book called Digital Marketing Certified. You just have to understand a few principles. It's all in this book, Digital Marketing Certified. And then you're able to set up this type of operation. And all these properties are coming to you. What properties? Not the properties. The sellers, they're calling you and say, yes, you buy houses, yes, what do you have? You do the math, you assess the property, you analyze, and then you lock in a deal, and then you shop that deal to other people that will pay you a little bit of money for finding the deal. It's really that simple. But in United States, it's a thing. There are a couple of states that are frowning out at it because there's some people that have also mismanaged this opportunity, but it is always going to be a thing. You better believe it. Somebody say, is it legal? Yes, of course it's legal because you're giving people what they want and you make profit and you're helping the economy thrive. Of course it's legal, but however, there are regulations that are being created, and sometimes, as these regulations are being created, that creates hiccups and stuff like that. But there's always a walk around. If you're willing to walk around the walk around legally, then you stay in the market. Everybody else will exit the business. I exited the business briefly in 2008. It was a bad idea because I was too weak to continue in a recession, right? But I'm back here, so that's all that matters, right? So anyway, it is legal. It's legal anywhere you go in the world, and if you want to do it in the United States from anywhere in the world, you can do it too. But you're not a real estate agent, so let's be careful here. You cannot represent a buyer or a seller's interest. You can find deals for us, and we will pay you happily for finding deals for us. You can do that remotely. You can also partner with us to do that, to run a pipeline, a marketing pipeline, and we're always open for that. You can see the information scrolling on the screen. Okay, so those are things that your parents probably won't tell you, something that your boss might not be able to tell you. But do me a favor, if you like this information, hit like, subscribe, share. I have some other more information I want to share with you. I'll be right back.